Welcome to the station wagon. I'm the older brother, Mark.
And I'm little sister Julie. This is the podcast where my brother and I give up something we take for granted and tell you how it goes.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you excited about this episode?
I am. So, Mark, thank you
Yeah.
for finally agreeing to do this one. I've been wanting you to do food variety for a really, really long time. So,
Well, I love doing episodes about food. It's so tangible. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to like the conceptual things that we've done, food is, I don't know, the way I like to think about it is we are what we eat. And you can quote me on that.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for coining that.
Okay. You're
So
welcome.
we're going to talk about history and science, and we're going to do a quiz, and then we'll take a couple of weeks and give up food variety and see how it goes.
That sounds great. And for someone who doesn't have her notes in front of her, you're sounding awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for blowing my cover in front of everyone.
Well, maybe I'll delete that out if you're nice to me.
I'm not going to be nice, so you may as well just
No,
leave it.
good.
Okay.
All right. So you ready for the Quizola?
Yeah, quiz.
Okay, intro music, put it in here. Bing, bing, bing.
I like that music.
Quiz. Yeah. No, thank you. What single food? Okay, so first of all, before we go, let me back it up. I'm going to delete that. So, Julie, tell us what this episode is about.
Okay, we are talking about food variety because these days I can walk into the grocery store no matter what season it is and pretty much get any kind of food I'm interested in. At least
That's great.
the flavors. It is great, but
It is great. And so we're going to try to have as much variety as possible?
no, actually, we're going to do the opposite. And later in the science section, I'm going to talk to you about our evolutionary battle that we're engaged in about food variety.
Ooh.
I know,
Who's
isn't that
gonna win?
exciting? Probably the food, if I know
Oh,
us
God.
well, but we'll find out.
Okay, very good. Did you know that limiting variety is called a monodiet?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I'm going to use that term here. So don't get lost with the new term.
Mono diet? I got it.
Very good. Okay, quiz question number 1. This is multiple choice. You have 4 options. So listen to them all before you answer.
Okay.
What single food did Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller eat for 2 weeks to kickstart his weight loss plan? And did you know that he went from 335 to 225 pounds in about 16 months?
Holy smokes. That's
here's
a
the
huge
choices.
amount.
Yeah, it is. Well, he's a big guy, 6'7", 335 pounds. Okay, so was it potatoes, blueberries, beans, or bananas?
Beans.
No, it was potatoes.
But they're the magical fruit.
They are. And all these are blueberries, beans, and bananas are also known as superfoods too. But no, he ate potatoes.
And it's
5.
the only one that doesn't begin with the letter B.
Very
Was
good.
that a
That should have
clue?
clued you in.
Yeah.
Totally. When you take the SAT prep classes, that's what they tell you.
Look for one thing that's not like the others.
And specifically the letter B.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Number 2, so that was terrible, Julie. Number 2, what are some of the risks of doing a mono diet? A, malnutrition. B,
Yep.
muscle loss.
Mhm.
C, some monsterism. Or D, all of the above.
Did you say monsterism?
Right. That's when you turn into a monster.
But just some. Just partial
just somewhat.
monsterism?
Just partial. Right. Just partial monsterism.
Can you give us an example of the kind of monsterism that potentially could be at risk if C is a correct choice? I mean, are we talking like Frankenstein's monsterism? Vampirism?
Science really hasn't come to agreement on this one yet.
Aha! Then you fell into my trap. It's A and B.
Oh, actually, it's all of the above.
Wait. No, it's not. Okay.
And I like to call it the 3 M's of the mono diet.
Okay.
Yes. If you go onto a mono diet for any length of time, eating just one food or one food group, malnutrition, muscle loss, and monsterism in terms of just being hateful to the world probably is.
Oh, that's
yeah.
probably you mean just like totally hangry all the time?
Maybe hangry or just angry from the monotony of it.
Fair. Okay.
Okay, so this one is a fill in the blank. Let's see if you can do it. A monotonous diet can mess with what thing you do every day.
Cooking.
Yeah, it's true, but no. I'll give you
Okay,
one
wait,
more
wait,
guess.
Say the whole sentence again. I'm confused.
Sure. A monotonous diet can mess with what thing you do every day.
Oh, poop.
Oh, that's true too. But no, this is something you do at night.
Go to bed.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Yes. The judges will give that to you.
Okay,
Sleep.
thanks, judges.
Absolutely. So there's been some study about it. Individuals who slept the least tended to be short on protein and carbs, along with nutrients like iron, zinc, and selenium, blah, blah, blah. So basically, if you limit the kind of variety of nutrition that you're getting, it can mess with your sleep potentially. Super interesting stuff. So Julie, you failed all of those.
Hopefully I'll do better at the actual challenge portion of this. I'm really excited to tell you about the history, but I'm wondering, do you want to do... I'm excited to tell you about the science. Do you want to do history first?
I would love to do history first, and I'm so glad you're not going to tread in my territory.
I wouldn't dream of it.
All right, so 2000 BCE, food was traded over hundreds of miles between the Andes highlands and the Amazon basic rainforest. And this stuck out to me because it's just shows how far back we actually wanted food variety.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we could find archaeological evidence. Probably predates that. People don't like to eat the same thing over and over again.
And it was big bucks for the spice trade.
Yes, very good. In 1770,
I knew a thing. Yeah.
You do. I'm jumping way ahead now. We're going up to 1775.
AD?
Okay. AD. No, not AD.
Sorry.
ACE.
ACE.
Okay, so
after
I'm
the
jumping.
Common Era. Sorry, I forgot.
I'm jumping ahead now to 1775 ACE.
Okay.
So the United States continental. Well, actually, was it the United States yet? No, the revolution had not started yet.
Were you lying then, or are you lying now?
I don't know. I'm just going to start this piece over again.
Okay.
We're going to 1775 ACE. The Continental Congress stipulated that all enlisted persons of the Continental Army, this is during the Revolutionary War, should receive peas, beans, or vegetables and 1 pint of milk per man, in addition to their provision of meat and bread. They weren't on a mono diet. It was because the Continental Congress did understand that they should have variety in there, in their provisions, but still it's pretty boring.
But yeah, I don't know that it's variety necessarily, or if we're just talking about make sure we check all the boxes of nutrients.
Yeah, I mean, enough variety of the types of food groups, which I don't know if they thought about it like that back then, but to get the various food groups to get the nutrition you need.
Yeah.
So in the 1800s, the cold chain of distribution was enabled by packing trains and other vehicles with ice. Do you know what the cold train is? I'm sorry, the cold chain?
Is it trains with ice?
Well, that's part of it. So the idea is that directly from the fields or the processing plants or wherever the food is initially processed to your table, the food can be kept cold and therefore can last longer.
So we could get a lot more variety because you can ship things from farther away to more people.
That's exactly right. And so nowadays it happens with refrigeration, trucks, trains, airplanes, ships, and all that kind of stuff. But even back in the 1800s, the cold chain was implemented by packing these vehicles with ice. So even back then, restaurants would have on the menu, hey, eat this particular item. It traveled 22,000 miles to get here.
Wow.
Just imagine how expensive that would have been to the average person. We're jumping ahead. 2007, the Swedish company hold on a second. Let me just try this. Middagsfrid. Okay. In 2007, the Swedish company Middagsfrid, roughly translated as dinner time bliss, started up. So it was the very first of its kind to offer fresh ingredients and recipes and a planned meal in a box to consumers to their homes. So again, getting away from people having boring food choices, helping people to have more variety in what they eat.
Right.
And now we have, do you ever use those places like Blue Apron or those?
Yeah,
kind of
I've used them before.
What do you think? You're a cooker. What do you think of that sort of thing?
I am always pretty pleased by it, but I live with some picky humans, so hasn't been so successful for us overall.
Got it. Okay.
But we are looking for sponsors. I'm willing to persuade them. Just kidding.
What, the picky humans?
No. Yeah, I could persuade the picky humans if Blue Apron
to
wanted to
sponsor
sponsor us. Yeah, you know.
Got it. So it's been interesting doing this research because all along people, back even in ancient peoples, were looking for variety, right? But now we're going back the other direction and looking for ways to simplify our lives for various reasons. For example, two last things here. In 2013, the Soylent meal replacement drink was launched by Rob Reinhart. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yes. My partner, Olaf, tried it.
Oh, no, he did.
Oh, yes.
I had no idea. You didn't tell us this. Okay, so give us 30 seconds on it.
Okay, so Soylent is advertised as tasting like a wet dish rag if you squeezed it into a glass.
Now, wait, is it advertised by the manufacturer that way or by Reddit users that way?
Actually, by the manufacturer. They kind of embraced the reviews of it
Really?
because it
Wow.
was so bland. They were really trying to appeal to this stereotype of like the tech guy who is too busy, doesn't need to think about what he's going to wear, what he's going to eat. He just needs his nutrition and clothes so he can go ahead and do his awesome coding work. And who cares about what's going in your body? I don't even need to taste it, and that
Right.
kind of thing. I mean, they were like really proud of it. If you look at some of their own marketing materials, and also, frankly, it is kind of funny. They did improve the taste after a while, but still nothing significant. Although some people say if you put, Hershey syrup in it and things like that. But the idea of Soylent is that it has all the nutrients you need. All you need to do is make these shakes all day long, and they're a special thing with a special oil you add to it, and then you'll be set, and you won't gain weight. You'll probably lose weight because it's disgusting, and then you don't need to spend all your emotional energy thinking about things as mundane and plebeian as food.
Did Olaf have to buy a certain amount?
Yeah, I think he's shelled out like $200.
And for how many days worth?
Oh, I mean, if he had actually drank it, I think it would have lasted him quite a while. I mean, like if you actually stick to it, it's not too expensive. It's still hefty. I think he got through maybe one bag. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to see if he's willing to ask about it.
Okay, so can you bottom line it? What was his opinion of the experience? I guess he didn't finish it. That tells us something.
Oh yeah, he hated it.
Okay.
I mean, it's really good for their business model that you can't sample it beforehand. You have to just jump in 2 feet first, $200 in.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you know where they got the name Soylent?
Not from Soylent Green, but from I don't remember.
Really? Because I read some article about the business from, I thought, a reputable source that said it did come from Soylent Green.
No, Soylent is not people. I don't know. It might be worth some Insta Googling, or you could wait till later and then insert your own voice being like, Mark here, I looked it up and blah, 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 blah. Or maybe some of our listeners can
Yeah, I really don't think I care that much. Okay, so in 2019, so this is, again, we're going back into becoming more simplistic in what we're eating.
Okay.
And in 2019, I'm looking out towards the future here. The eating locally movement just will continue to keep growing. There's lots of reports on this. One by Business Insider said that local food sales in the U.S. grew from $5 billion to $12 billion between 2008 and 2014. And it'll go up to $20 billion in 2019.
Wow.
Which is interesting. So like the local food, I mean, just eating locally, and this is a podcast idea we've talked about doing, we haven't done it yet, will make it very hard to get variety because you're going to rely on foods that are seasonal plus those that are just grown right around you. And you might not be in a place where they grow bananas and kiwis.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Do they grow bananas and kiwis in Olympia?
I mean, maybe in someone's basement next to their marijuana plants under like a heat lamp.
Oh, God. Okay. Very good.
I don't know how these things work.
So it's super interesting to me. I think people in general still love the variety. I mean, that's what it's really all about. But there is definitely a growing subculture, a trendy, expensive growing subculture.
Yeah, exactly.
Of people wanting to go and eat less variety to save the earth. They link it to the green movement.
Right, because if you imagine how much energy is spent on transporting bananas from Mexico to Snoqualmie, Washington.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Very
it's a
good.
lot of extra energy. Okay,
Yep.
so
So that is history, Julie. So thank you for paying attention.
No, I loved it. That was a really good history segment. I'm glad you hit on some of the main reasons why food nutrition is really important, or food variety. I'm not going to get into it because I think we can all agree that we need some variety, right? Without citrus, pirates lose their legs. Is that how that works? I don't know.
They get scurvy.
Scurvy, yes. No, but we need some variety.
And they become angry pirates.
They become an angry pirate. We want happy pirates. I was going to make a dumb joke about pirate booty, but I got distracted because we bought a giant Costco-sized bag of that the other day.
Oh, yeah. We love that stuff.
We love it too, but you can't get a Costco-sized bag. I don't know what Olaf was thinking because, you eat a few handfuls of it, you're done, and then the next day it's not going to be as good. Pirate booty's like,
why wouldn't it be as good?
it gets like, the oxygen infiltrates the molecules. It gets mushy.
Julie, it's in a resealable bag. You don't just leave it on the counter open. I don't
But
know
what if I
don't know
do?
what. Yeah, that's your. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
calling
anyway.
the pirate booty people on you.
The booty cops.
The booty cops. Right.
That's my next album. Okay.
Oh, good.
All right. So, yes, we need some food variety. But basically, we are in this battle against evolution. So, here's my premise that we are naturally predisposed to want lots of variety. And when we see a whole bunch of different food, we want to try it all. And we're evolutionarily made this way. We're not satisfied with just one thing because we do need those extra nutrients. So it's really good that those like early spice routes were developed. If you think back to early agricultural times, like you said, you are just limited to what you can grow nearby. But people still survived. Right now, we're in this battle against our evolutionary mechanism because it's like we are constantly living at a buffet. No matter where we go, we have so much variety. Any restaurant, any grocery store, my daughter can say, I want cherries in the middle of winter. And maybe I can't buy her fresh cherries, but I could still buy her frozen cherries and, or some cherry flavored thing, right? We have so much variety that this natural inclination of our bodies to continue seeking the variety, we're never sated. So if we're at a buffet, we're going to want to try so many different things. Can you imagine being at a buffet or at a friend's house for dinner and they serve 5 or 6 different dishes and it's all things you like? Can you imagine just saying, oh, well, I'm only hungry enough for a couple bites, so I'm just going to try a couple of these? No.
I disagree with 2 parts of what you're saying.
Tell me.
Well, one is this idea that if you have unlimited variety, you'll never get sated and you'll always want more variety. I don't know any research, but just intuitively, it seems that if you don't have variety, you're going to be wanting more variety. And then 2, the rule at a buffet is you take a little bit of everything. And everybody knows that, Julie.
Okay, so back to the first point. Wait, would you say that, like, you would never be sated? Or, wait, say it again?
Your word was the word sated. That
Yeah.
You said that if you're at a buffet and you have lots of options, you're going to be continually unsated, unsatisfied.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going to continually want more and more variety. My point is that may be true, but it's also true that if you don't have any variety, you're going to crave variety.
No, I agree with that. That you probably will still crave variety because our bodies want it. But if it's not there, you can't have it.
So basically, what Kendra always says, you can't win for losing.
Because I'm not saying if we didn't have variety, we would all be like, woe is me. All I want is some savory taste that I can't quite imagine because I've only lived in this agrarian lifestyle and I don't know what this food is that I'm thinking of. But it's more that if you're presented with new smells and new sights, you're going to think, oh, yeah, sure. And you'll start salivating and your physical responses will take over. Whereas if you just don't even have those options, if your only options are, 1 or 2 dishes, like today we are having this stew. It's the same stew we've had for the last 3 nights and this homemade bread, then that's going to be satisfying. If you have those 3 things.
Do you think if Olaf was eating Soylent and the entire family was eating Soylent all the time and he never went anywhere else where they were eating anything different, do you think that would have been a different experience for him?
Absolutely.
Because you were probably baking up a storm in the house while
Right.
the poor guy was, you were probably like torturing him.
Well, he did get it for work, but I think so my work, I can't go out for lunch because everything is like 20 minutes away. I get a half hour for lunch and I have to go on and off security, right? There's just no options for me if I want to eat unless I go to the hospital, which is, by the way, fantastic. But that said, it still takes a long time. So, my options are what I brought or nothing else unless someone brings in some baked goods. Like, that's it. And so I don't have any other options. For Olaf, he bought Soylent to drink at work, but he also had like a taqueria down the block and like 3 different options of fast food and a Starbucks that serves sandwiches, so that was defeating. Okay, here's the main point because we've gone on and on and on. We have way too many options. When we have a lot of options, I'll make it less valenced with my opinion. When we have a lot of options, we're going to want to try them all. When we have 0 options, we're more satisfied with what we've got. And we are a nation right now where you can get like 8 different flavors of Pringles, right? You can get just the chip aisle alone tricks us into thinking we're eating all these different nutrients. And it's appealing to that part of our brain that's trying to help us get all those different nutrients by having us eat all this unhealthy food. My whole premise is the old premise of, okay, I'm hungry, says the child. And the mom says, well, do you want an apple? And the child says, no. And then the mom says, okay, well, then you're not hungry. If you're hungry enough for an apple, then you're hungry. And that's something that as I've become an adult and I'm trying to figure out, okay, am I actually hungry? Or is it just that I know I have some really good cookies right now? And the fact that I know I've got these cookies is making me hungry. I think, okay, well, if I had apple slices in front of me, would I eat those? And if the answer is yes, then I know, okay, you're probably hungry.
Yeah, sure. We love that gauge. We use that in our house too.
Okay, so let me tell you some more things. Can I go on to the next talking point, or do you want to continue to beat this one to a dead horse? To a dead horse? Compete.
I don't think that's what people say. I would like you to go on.
Okay, good. All right. So have you heard about the gluten-free diets?
No, I have heard about that.
So I know at some point we need to address this. We've had listeners ask us for it.
Oh, yes.
And we've had lots of volunteers to help us with our interviews for this one. It's going to be a loaded
Help us to get over our
episode.
skepticism.
I'm a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So a lot of people who do not have gluten intolerance or gluten allergies choose to go gluten-free. And some of them have lost weight. And it's because of this limiting their variety. They have no need to stop eating gluten, but by ceasing eating gluten, they are just effectively cutting off a whole branch of this potential buffet table that we live at. So there's other diets like that too. There's also a lot of social pressure that we've got to think about too, of people pushing. That sounds a little aggressive, but people like trying to enforce this idea of eat more, and eat more variety. I mean, like, imagine.
Wait, you just changed the word pushing to enforce.
Well, enforce is more like law enforcement. Pushing is like drug pushing.
Right. I think it's actually more akin to the former than the latter. I mean, when you go over to mom's house.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or any parent's house, not just our mom. She's great and we love her.
Oh my gosh.
But any house, there's going to be, like that Saturday Night Live sketch, there's going to be bowls of things around the
everywhere.
house.
Well, okay.
Everywhere. And there's always cookies. She's pushing it. She is a sugar pusher.
Well, I can't even think how many times I was a really picky kid, so these memories are very salient for me. But, you're at someone's dinner table. They're passing around, like, the 4 different things that they're serving. And if you choose not to take one, some people instantly give you, like, the 3rd degree. Like, oh, do you not like green beans? Why? Oh, you've never tried green beans? Well, you should try. What? You don't even like them? What? Who doesn't like green beans? Or I'm thinking about Olaf now the other night where he was handed a plate of egg salad, which is like his worst nightmare, and then had to answer like 10 questions about why he won't eat the egg salad without saying, no, I just don't like it. Please stop talking to me. Okay. But Mom, we love you.
Yes, that's true.
We just don't like egg salad.
I like egg salad. I don't like it in the Cuisinart though. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it was more like egg pate.
Yeah, exactly right. I left a little more substance to my egg salad.
If you're trying to get Olaf to try egg salad, that was the wrong approach. Okay.
There's a time and a place. Okay, sidebar, Julie. There's a time and a place for the Cuisinart. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Like,
absolutely, right?
Yeah, if I'm dicing something.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
All right.
Finally.
Back to the show. Back to the acting.
The Twinkie diet. So.
Oh, right. I heard about this. Yeah.
Yes. So a while ago, this professor, Mark Hobb, he's a professor of nutrition at Kansas State University. He only ate Twinkies for 10 weeks. And he lost 27 pounds.
Yeah.
Now, he, in his article, did not say, so everyone should do this. I mean, I think he was the first one to admit this is dumb, but I just wanted to show everyone what happens when you limit your variety. And you get sick of the Twinkies, but still, a terrible idea.
Anything else? Just Twinkies?
Yeah,
to maintain like his correct caloric intake.
Yeah, I think it
For
was
how
just
long
Twinkies.
did you say? 10 weeks?
10 weeks. Maybe I need to
Wow.
go back and maybe he ate Twinkies in addition. I know every 3 hours he ate a Twinkie.
Oh my God. Oh
so
my God.
so that caused me to want to do this with you, where we're not going to eat Twinkies, but what
No.
I proposed to you was that we each pick a healthy meal. That's
Yes.
a balanced meal. So I'm not
Yes.
saying let's just eat white rice and nothing else. Like,
Because
no,
what's one of the tenets of our program here?
that we don't harm our health.
Yes, exactly.
And we
Julie.
don't give in to big rice.
Right.
So, but
So the
I'm
Rice
not,
Entertainment Military Industrial Complex.
exactly.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing: only when we're like by ourselves or like with coworkers. The one time we can go ahead and eat other things is family dinner, because that's also
Right.
really, really important. Because what's one of the other tenets of our podcast?
To not destroy our families.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? Is that
Right,
basically it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we often give our spouses veto power over our
Right.
topics.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. I think it's great. So what are you going to pick for your nutritious meal?
Okay. Well, I'm picking a meal I love, and this is usually what I eat for
Oh,
lunch
wait, let me
anyway.
guess. Peanut butter sandwich with a bag of Doritos. And not like a mini bag of Doritos, but like an entire like family size
family
bag of
si-
Doritos.
A few months ago, I could have done that. That could have been I mean, not a bag of Doritos all at once, but that would have been my thing. But ever since we gave up sugar, I have stopped eating Doritos. I've gone back to sugar, but
Okay.
I kind of got off the Doritos kick. And
Wow,
longtime
good for you.
listeners will know that I was eating a healthy portion or two or three of Doritos every single day. No.
An unhealthy portion of Doritos.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
I see what you did there. I like
see what
that.
I did? I turned
That's
it around
good.
on you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Safeway nut and grain bread, which is really good. Almond butter on it. So just an almond butter sandwich on this crunchy bread and a side of sliced apples.
That sounds really good. So almond butter has sugars in it, though.
Nope.
You
it
should
has
go look at
natural
it.
sugars.
I think it's got sugar added in it. Go check
Not
it out.
mine.
You sure?
Yeah.
100% sure. You willing to
No.
bet your pinky
No.
finger on that?
No, I want to keep my pinky finger. But I'm 98% sure they have not changed the recipe since we did our sugar episode like 6 months ago.
All right, very
Yeah.
good. That sounds delicious and boring.
Yes.
Incredibly boring, but
That's
it
what I'm
actually
going
sounds yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm pretty excited about. I'm going to make myself smoothies. We have a little smoothie maker at home, and at work there's actually like a NutriBullet or Quickie Bullet. I can't remember what they're called at
Quickie
work.
bullet.
I don't know what it's called. Well, it's like a quick thing. But and work, at Tableau, we get all kinds of free food. And so
Yeah, I think we've heard about that before.
have you heard about that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
a great place to work, and we're hiring. You should totally try to get a job there, Julie.
Someday.
The things I like in my smoothies are plain Greek yogurt, some Splenda sweetener, bananas, milk, and spinach, and a little peanut butter.
Oh, wait. Okay. You had me until spinach.
That's what I have, and a little ice to keep it cool. So that's what I have in my smoothies when I have one, which is fairly infrequently. But I'm going to have that for breakfast and lunch.
Okay, I love spinach. But
Because it's a balance of protein and fiber and iron and there's some kind of vegetable in there. I think spinach is a vegetable.
I've heard that. But
Yeah.
I mean, those flavors. Have you tried that combination yet before you sign on for 2 weeks of this?
Yeah. I have that at home when we have the ingredients. I make that for myself.
Even with spinach.
Oh yeah, you've never had a spinach smoothie with stuff in it?
With stuff.
Where do you live? You live in Olympia.
You've never
people
had
there
a
should be.
spinach smoothie with stuff in it. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't sound that great. Yeah.
It is so yummy and good, and it does not taste like spinach.
Okay. I mean, and I
But
love
it
the way
definitely
spinach
has an effervescent green color to it. That's for sure.
You'll take pictures, I assume.
Oh yeah. I'll share some pictures in the notes. Yep.
Okay, and then I think Kendra does the majority of cooking for your family, right?
She does. Yes. Thank.
Okay,
the
so is
blessed
she gonna
stars for Kendra.
make? Yeah, no kidding. She's amazing in multiple ways. But is she gonna surprise you by just making spinach smoothies every night for dinner too?
No, we've actually talked about it and how I'm going to be eating dinner with the kids and her every night. We have family dinner every night.
Yeah.
So no, we're just going to maintain the usual thing to not make it more complex than it already is.
We might want to consider at some point when our families aren't, I don't know, if our kids are like at summer camp or something, like
Doing what?
doing this without a break. I mean, I kind of feel like we're cheating by doing the dinner
let's
thing.
talk about it later on. If it goes well, maybe
we could
we'll sign
do a
up for
revisit.
more.
Yeah, maybe some listeners would want to do it with us. If you're
Or
interested
we could
in
do the
that.
Twinkie diet.
Actually, I've been really craving Twinkies lately ever since I
Ew.
should have eaten one before this.
I would be all right with maybe like the Ding Dong diet. Those look much better. I'm not into Twinkies so much, but work has Ding Dongs, so I could do
Ding
that.
Dongs were better when they were wrapped in foil back in the 80s, because then you could flatten out the foil at recess and pretend it was a treasure map.
And you know what? I learned from a coworker way like 20 years ago at HP or wherever that in the Midwest they were called King Dongs.
I think you've said this before.
It's a true thing. It is true. But anyway, Julie, I'm excited about this episode.
Me too. Okay, so last question. We're starting this today. So did you have like a last meal of like for your extinction burst of,
Yeah, we had Chinese food, which is one of my favorite things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a ton of ice cream.
Good one.
Yes. So we're going to listen to the pleasure kills for a minute, and we'll be right back to let you know after our time traveling how it went.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to call you Olaf and not Jason, your real name?
Right.
Okay, so in that case, Olaf, after you're done taping up that package, which you're doing a fine job of, by the way, Mark and I have been focusing on food variation for our recent episode, and we thought you could be our subject matter expert on Soylent.
Yeah, not to say anything bad about Soylent. I mean, it was a pretty good idea to be able to not have to think about what you're eating from day to day. It's just that the product was pretty terrible.
But not to say anything bad about it.
No.
So, sorry, there's dogs wrestling underneath us here. Would you recommend that people try it?
Absolutely. It's vegan and it meets your daily nutritional needs, but it's just not very filling.
What did it taste like?
It tasted like gravel.
I'm sorry, did you say gravel?
Gravel.
Gravel with like salt on it?
No, just gravel.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Not to say anything bad.
You had to add sugar to it or chocolate.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
How was it then?
It tasted terrible with chocolate on top.
Chocolate covered gravel?
Yeah,
Thank you, sweetie.
sure.
Hey, Julie, welcome back.
Hey, Mark, how are you doing? And how was your time with your smoothies? Smoothie time.
My smoothie time. It was really good. I liked it in general. Like, I would totally recommend this.
Really? Because you sent me some negative texts.
I don't think that's true. Do you have an example?
No, I thought I remember you saying something like, I can't wait till this stupid challenge is over or something.
No, that doesn't sound like me.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no.
Oh, I beg your pardon. God bless
No,
you. Sorry.
God bless you. I remember there were other times, other frustrations I'll talk about in a second. But
Okay.
no, in general, when I would make these smoothies, either at home or at work or wherever, and drink them, of course. But I always felt really healthy. I didn't feel like all logy and weighed down by some kind of
Yeah.
heavy breakfast, that kind of thing. And I always felt pretty good, like I was not abusing my body or the world I live in by having these things.
I don't mean to interrupt you too much, but that's exactly how it was for me too. Like when I did eat the meal, I just felt really good. Like there was no regret, and yeah, it was awesome.
Was it because we have that feeling that we're doing something special and so that we're better than everybody else around us?
That is a common feeling we get from our challenges. We've mentioned that before. Of like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not using sarcasm, or I'm not sitting in chairs.
Right. Right.
No,
exactly.
But in this case, for me, it wasn't. I do think that at times I don't want to use the word binge in a clinical sense, but I do definitely like overdo it with food. But with this, just even if I ate 2 sandwiches or an extra helping of sliced apples, it was still at the end of the day, wow, I ate 3 apples today. And, it's still a good feeling. I felt physically good.
So laying out a nutritious meal, just having the parameters around it or the framing factors around it was helpful. Could have been any nutritious meal, do you think? Or was it this
totally.
specific one?
Well, for me, this specific one was good because it's more than a nutritious meal. It's one that I really like. And I did not get sick of it by the end, which I was really worried about because I didn't want to ruin my favorite lunch.
Right.
But it was nutritious, but also good. I mean, apples are yummy.
Apples are yummy, and they keep the doctors away.
That's what I hear.
So the insurance companies really like them. So at the end of this, I was definitely getting sick of this, and we had stocked up on huge quantities of spinach and bananas and Greek yogurt at home. And Kendra was having to remind me, no, Mark, you can't have... we had just gone to Costco and gotten like Captain Crunch or something like that. You can't have Captain Crunch weekend cereal. We only eat that stuff on the weekends.
Right.
You have to have your smoothie. And I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, so at the end, it was a lot like, well, being at the end of eating smoothies for 2 weeks. I was going to use another metaphor, but that one pretty much sums it up right there.
Kind of face valid.
Yeah, so at the end, it became really boring, and I didn't lose any weight because I started craving other food. And for dinners, because I was eating dinner with the family, I just filled up on things that had texture. I found that I was really missing something that had texture.
Oh,
so
right,
yeah, it may have been pretty
everything
healthy.
For you was just one solid like slurp.
It was a drink. Yeah, it was a drink. It was like having milkshakes essentially. And they were good and they were flavorful, but yeah, just I wonder what the science is behind people's need for actually chewing things.
Right. Well, I mean, that's part of why our fast food restaurants try to add crunch and stuff to so many of their items.
Mm-hmm. And why, and I think this is something you could actually look up. I didn't make this up, but the early astronaut food was just pastes in tubes. And they would also give the astronauts gum to chew.
Oh, really?
So that they would feel more satiated after their meals because they would get the right calories.
Right.
But, so I probably should have chewed gum, but my jaw really hurts a lot.
Oh, yeah. No.
So I also ran into some logistical issues with this.
Mm-hmm.
So like, first of all, when you're going to start doing a thing where you're going to eat one combination of food for 2 weeks, one should probably think about buying all the ingredients ahead of time. Oh,
yeah, you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't think about that. I like to do project management type work for work. So, and I'm usually on top of things, but for some reason I ran behind the 8 ball on this one and ran out of stuff. So I found myself having to run to the grocery store to get my smoothie ingredients and feeling pretty dumb about it. And then this couple days at work, I don't know what happened, but somebody hid the smoothie maker.
Oh no.
Yeah, someone hid. There's like a shared NutriBullet, and they're called Nutri at work. And I guess somebody brought it in from the goodness of their heart. And maybe that same person like took it home for some reason. But there were a couple days when I couldn't do it at the office.
Do you think someone was bullying you? Do you feel safe?
I do feel safe. Yes,
okay.
My workplace is extremely safe.
All right. Okay. I didn't.
And
mean
we're
to throw
hiring
shade.
there, Julie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where have I heard that lately?
Yeah. So that was kind of bogus. Just, the logistical concerns, didn't lose weight and craving other food were all problems for me. And by the end, it did get boring. But I think also to make it a little more interesting for myself towards the end, I was adding different ingredients. So feeling kind of guilty about that.
Aww.
Like I would toss in some carrots.
Right.
Was there anything else? Like if there were strawberries lying around or blueberries lying around, something like that, I would add those in as well. And that seemed to help change the flavor, but I still just really was craving the crunch or the chewing.
I wonder why you didn't, I wish we'd talked earlier. I wonder why you didn't take some of the ingredients that you put in it and just have those separate. I mean, you're still eating the same stuff. But
well, I wanted to be as true to the mission as possible. And the mission was really not having a mono diet, but having the same exact thing.
Okay.
Right. And for me, I wanted to be as literal as possible. The same exact thing meant the same consistency, same delivery mechanism,
Is that why you sent me such angry texts after I announced to you that, oh, by the way, I'm adding granola bars to my diet?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Why did you add granola bars?
Well, because I realized I had set myself up to also do sugar-free stuff, which is fine. I did sugar-free for one of our challenges, and I really liked it, actually. But I was kind of, I didn't want to mix up those two things, of not just am I doing the mono diet, but I'm also now have given up sugar again.
Right.
And so, and I was just really craving the sugar. And also, some of this was during a lot of holiday times in the United States when there's sugar everywhere.
Yep.
So I thought I'd be able to stick to it better if I picked my favorite nutritious-ish protein bars and just added that to it. So, peanut butter or almond butter sandwiches, apples, and peanut butter flavored Nutri-Grain bars or whatever they are.
It sounds like meals ready to eat or some kind of military
MREs,
rations.
yeah. Except a lot less fat, sugar, and salt.
So is there anything else you want to tell us about your experience?
Yeah, I got to try out pretty much every kind of apple and rate them on a continuum from meh to, oh my gosh, this is the best apple ever. And do you want to guess the winner?
Yeah. Like, isn't there one called like a crisp?
Honey Crisp?
Yes.
No, that was mid-range. Envy apples are the best. And my kids agree with me because they joined me in tasting all the apples.
I've never heard of that. What?
It is
how's
so
that spelled?
good. It's probably one of the hybrids. How is it spelled?
Is it just the word envy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
ENVY.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's
Echo,
their domain
November, Victor. What? What's their domain
URL?
name?
And they're on Twitter as
Right. At Envy Apples.
No,
At
okay. Tell
Mark's
us.
a
So,
dork.
what,
Yeah, they're so
when
good.
you say they're so good, like super sweet or what? What was so good about them?
Crunchy. See, you could have used some of these, poor guy.
Yeah.
Like a really
Envy
nice
apples.
crunch. The the outer peel is really delicious too. It's not like the kind of apple where you chew it and then like you still have peel in your mouth because that hasn't chewed up as much. Just a really delicious, sweet, but not too sweet. The Honey Crisps are too sweet, not too sour. Just I strongly recommend go out and find an Envy apple. And this is one of the great things about living in Washington State, of course, is our grocery stores have like 20 different varieties of apples.
Really, what state are those apples from?
Mexico, probably.
Probably.
So this situation was really ideal for situations where I might normally say to myself, oh, I'll get food on the way. So I had to go up and back to Seattle several times during this period for school stuff. And normally I would probably not pack myself like 2 days of food and all these things. I would just think, oh, well, I'll just stop someplace and try to find something healthy. Well, of course, on a road trip, you can't stop and find something healthy very easily unless you deliberately stop at a grocery store. So this was just wonderful for those situations. The times it was hardest was when I was starving and had just a few minutes of time and I hadn't made myself a sandwich or chopped up apples beforehand. And even though this is like literally the easiest meal I could prepare, still it would be way easier for me to just grab a slice of cheese and eat that, or I don't know, anything else, or some Cheez-Its, or
Well, yeah, you're
anything
really good
else
at cutting the cheese. Sorry, I am so sorry.
Why? That was hilarious. I love it.
I'm saving up my better jokes for later.
Oh, okay, great. So, when I know that there's other options, I just want to eat those. I'm a really good cook. So, like, if I make something at dinner and I know it's in the fridge left over, and I know no one else is going to eat the leftovers except me, it's just going to go to waste because it's not family dinner time. So I did service leftovers one night at dinner and that kind of stuff just so I could have a chance to eat it. Oh, I found I was putting a lot of effort into our family dinners, more so than I usually do. Because like you said, I was like, variety.
Right. It's kind of like ending a fast to almost, right? It's not, but yeah. It's not like we were eating less than the right number of calories.
Right. I did lose at least a pound or two. So that was kind of cool. But I mean, really, it just felt good to feel good. And,
it felt good to feel good. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. I'm a real wordsmith today. You like
That's
that
good.
one?
So,
yeah.
Julie, would you recommend this to people?
Absolutely. As long as you pick a healthy meal.
Mm-hmm.
And give yourself a break. I mean, like we did with our family dinner times. Don't.
Would you recommend it for any purpose other than just trying it out? Like, I personally wouldn't recommend this as any kind of serious diet or a way to increase your nutrition or anything like that. This is just completely experimental, and we have no background in nutrition on which we're like saying we recommend this.
Yes. I'm reading between the lines here. Legally, I must let you all know we are not nutritionists. And
Very good.
I have a PhD in philosophy. I'm a psychologist. So
right.
I'm a doctor of philosophy. I know nothing. That
Right.
said, I can tell you it's way better that I'm eating a side of apples than a side of Doritos. Like,
That's true. Very
logic
good.
tells me that. But
Yeah, it was kind of fun to try to do it, but yeah.
yeah, it was a fun challenge. And I still, I kind of kept it up for a few days extra.
Good.
How
So what are
long
you
did you
eating
do?
now? Oh, I did it from like a little before Thanksgiving to, just a few days ago. So
Wow.
yeah, so several weeks.
Yeah, so what I did was after the challenge ended, I was still enjoying it. And so what I did was I just added in a couple more things. So I added in roasted peanuts and dried mango without sugar because that's another snack I really love. It's just those two things together. So I did that also. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing that for lunch at work and stuff when I know.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
I think we should really do the eat locally challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be. How about in the summertime?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's try it.
Great, Julie.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for doing this episode.
Yeah,
I'm
you
glad
too.
we did
Thanks
this
for trying
one.
it.
You're welcome.
What's next? Something dumb that you
What's-
came up with that has no social redeeming value?
I didn't come up with this one.
Dude, you came up with this. I did not come up with this. Maybe a listener suggested it, and if so, I'm really sorry for mocking it.
Very good. Yeah, what's
But
next?
I'm not that
is
sorry because it's really weird.
We are going to give up looking in mirrors at
I'm
ourselves,
I'm
I
just
should
letting
say.
that sink in.
Because, yeah, let that sink in. Do you want some more time to let that sink in? We're not going to give up looking in the rear view mirror or our wing mirrors on our cars. Just so you know, we're going to give up looking in mirrors at ourselves.
What about reflecting pools?
I think we should try to be as literal as possible.
Okay,
so
mirrored surfaces.
put away any shiny metal objects that you have that could be used as a mirror.
Like at dinner time, we used to like take the butter knife and make the light
Yeah.
reflect from it into my eyes, and I'd be like, "Where's it coming from?"
I love doing that. That was so fun. Well,
Okay.
thank you, Julie. Okay,
All right,
so
I'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
yeah, take us out of here with the part of the agenda where we go
Oh,
and
right,
say,
all the other stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
So do
oh.
our
Wait, stop talking. Stop, everyone, stop talking. Okay. Hey, listeners, are you interested in helping us pick an upcoming episode? We've been trying to come up with some ways to help spread the word about the Station Wagon podcast. So we're hoping you all will help us share on social media or write an iTunes review or something like that and send us proof. And then one of the people who does that, we will pick you to be the lucky winner to help us pick a future episode topic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but nothing too gross.
It has to be within our tenets, right?
Yeah,
Not
we'll give
destroying
you-
our family, not destroying our work, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay, but it could be a little gross. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Cool. That
All
sounds
right.
awesome.
Yeah.
So,
what else do we say here? I mean, thanks to the pleasure kills, thanks to our amazing families, our spouses, our kids.
that's what we say. And now we say goodbye, everybody.
So long, farewell. Oh, and promote us and send us your topics, blah, blah, blah. Facebook, Twitter, at
iTunes
WagonPod.
reviews. Thank you.
The end.
The end. Bye, Julie.
Bye, Rick. We will pick one person who does the following to help us. Please, no, let me try it the fourth time. Here, this is the real one. Okay.
You're going to get it.
Okay, hold on. So we're going to do a quick contest. No, fifth time. Okay. Okay,